Yesterday, we saw how inflation silently steals our money. But where exactly is this thief hiding in our daily lives? Today, we are going to track it down with real examples, and also see who actually wins and who loses it. And also see one magic formula that will change how you think about money forever. Let's go. Many people think inflation is always around 5 to 6%. History says otherwise. Let us see. Inflation is not a straight line. India had some very scary years. In 1974, inflation hit 25%. Prices were nearly doubling every 3 years. In 1991, it hit 16% during our balance of payments crisis. Between 2009 and 2014, it stayed between 9 to 11%. But it is brutal for common people. Today, it is around 5 to 6%, which sounds calm. But here is the thing. It never hits zero. It is always moving, like a roller coaster, which never stops fully. Let us look at few items which are essential for every house. Noticed something? These are not luxury expenses. These are things you simply cannot avoid. Here is the truth. The headline number does not tell you. The official government data on inflation might say 6%. But look at where it hurts. Healthcare costs are rising at around 14% a year. Education fees, 12%. Your grocery bill 8%. Urban rents and MS, 10%. So, when people say inflation is only 6%, ask them, 6% of what? Because your actual household inflation is probably much higher. The official inflation index number is an average. And averages can be very misleading. Now ask a question yourself. Should I keep money in FD? With these inflations, answer is FD is safe and predictable. However, it cannot beat inflation. Let me give you a very real example that hits close to home. Think about a retired person. They get 25,000 rupees pension every month. That amount stays the same, year after year. In most of the cases, nominal increase happen, but the medicines they need, the doctor visits, the hospital stays, have doubled or even tripled in the last 10 years. In 2014, a routine treatment might have costed 8,000 rupees. Today, the same treatment costs 20,000. The pension did not go up to that extent. The bills did. That gap. That is exactly what inflation does to people on fixed income. And this is happening to millions of retired Indians right now. Bottom line is retirement doesn't reduce expenses. It often increases medical expenses. Now here is a plot twist that not many people talk about. Inflation actually has winners also. If you borrowed money to buy a house 10 years ago, your ME is fixed. Maybe it was 45,000 rupees per month in 2015. It is still the same 45,000 today. But your salary might have doubled with inflation. So you are technically paying back the bank with same ME. Inflation quietly reduced the real burden of your loan. You are quietly winning here. This is why real estate, equity, and productive assets tend to beat inflation over time. So, who loses the hardest from inflation? 3 clear losers. Cash kept at home, money sitting in basic savings accounts, and fixed income that never grows or never beats inflation. If your money earns 3% and inflation takes 6%, you are losing 3% every year. Silently, without any notification. 10 lakh rupees in a savings account today will only have the buy around 7.4 lakh rupees in 10 years. The money did not go anywhere. But what it can buy you shrink dramatically. This connects directly back to what we discussed in part 1 of inflation video. Now here is the most powerful formula you will ever learn about money. And it takes about 5 seconds to calculate. It is called the rule of 72. Just take the number 72 and divide it by the inflation rate. The answer tells you how many years it takes for your money's buying power to become exactly half. At 4% inflation, 18 years to halve. At 6%, only 12 years. At 10% inflation, like we saw in 2012, your money's power halved in just over 7 years. Think about that. At today's 6% inflation, 1 lakh rupees sitting in your savings account today will only buy what 50,000 rupees buys today. In just 12 years. And the same rule works for your investments. Money growing at 12% doubles in just 6 years. Compounding is magic, but inflation is the dark side of that magic. Let us see an example of a timeless lesson in why guaranteed interest can quietly turn from comfortable safety into a financial struggle. Rajesh, a retired person with a hard-earned corpus of Rs. 60 lakhs, seeking absolute safety, he opted for a scheme which was offering a guaranteed return of 8.25% interest rate, generating a comfortable rupees 41,250 every month. Against his routine expenses of 40,000 per month, he and his wife were very happy. Sat back, relaxed, and confident. He felt his retirement was neatly and entirely secure. His wife too was happy. Six years passed quickly. The bank credited Rajesh's accounts with the same rupees 41,250 month after month. Without fail, the interest coming into bank was steady. However, but the world was not. As healthcare, groceries, and domestic help became costlier, his monthly expenses slowly ballooned to rupees 650. For the first time in his life, Rajesh felt deeply insecure. Especially healthcare costs started hurting their finance very badly. What is the main lesson of this story? The bank kept its word. They never defaulted. It paid interest every month. No fraud happened. But inflation doesn't keep its word to anyone. It keeps doing its job every year. So, what is real security? Just guaranteed interest? Or income that grows over time? In my opinion, at least a part of the retirement fund should be in assets that provide growth that outpaces inflation. Otherwise, today's peace can become tomorrow's anxiety. Let us see another example of a timeless lesson in why guaranteed interest can quietly turn from comfortable safety into a financial struggle. So, picture this. A loving dad sits down with his daughters to plan the absolute wedding of their dreams happily, locking in a budget of 40 lakh. The girls were totally over the moon, saying, "Oh papa, it's our dream. We can definitely make it to happen." Quote, father starts saving for the 40 lakh using fixed deposits and saving money in saving bank accounts. Few years go by and 40 lakh is almost ready. And wedding day is 6 months away. But then, sneaky inflation starts creeping in, quietly bumping up catering and venue costs by an extra 30%. Fast forward to just 6 months before the big day. And boom, the final bill's estimates suddenly add up to a whopping 60 lakh. Poor dad is completely stressed, breaking his fixed deposits and thinking hard to use loans and credit cards just to cover it. By the time the wedding day actually rolls around, he's left facing a quiet but heavy 20 lakh gap. Still, watching his daughter look absolutely radiant and happy in their bridal wear, he smiles through the worry and whispers to himself, where it went wrong. Those two stories feels real or real. If not faced it, it looks like it might have happened to somebody else, right? But it happens to every two house and every person, irrespective whether they are struggling to meet the ends or they affluence. In previous video I had asked a question. If inflation is 6% and your FD gives 6.5%, are you actually growing wealth? The answer is no. Here is why. FD interest is fully taxable. If you are in the 30% tax bracket, your 6.5% becomes only about 4.5% after tax. Now subtract 6% inflation from that 4.5%, and you are actually at minus 1.5% real return. You were losing money, safely. The correct answer was B. You were not growing wealth. You were just losing it slightly more politely than keeping cash at home. Today Q&A. Time for today's quiz. Which of these three asset classes has historically been the best long-term shield against inflation? A. Gold jewelry. B. Cash in a locker. C. Equity mutual funds. Drop your answer in the comments right now. I will reveal the answer in next video. With data and proof. Don't miss it. The great Nobel Prize-winning economist Milton Friedman once said, "Inflation is taxation without legislation." Think about that line for a moment. A tax that nobody voted for, nobody approved in parliament, but every single person is forced to pay. Silently, every year. The only way to fight a tax you cannot avoid is to invest your money in assets that grow faster than that tax takes. And that is exactly what we will talk about in next video. The specific tools that actually beat inflation over time. Today's key lessons. Before today's video ends, take 5 things home with you. First, inflation is our constant companion in life. Second, the government averages inflation rate. It does not have to be your household's actual inflation rate. Third, the rule of 72. This is a small formula, but a very big lesson. Fourth, just saving is not enough. Fifth, money must work for us. That requires the right investment. Now it's your turn. What is your household's experience? Which expense do you think has increased the fastest? Groceries, education, health, or home-related expenses? Write your answer in the comments. Your experience can be a lesson for others. So far, we understand the problem. Now the next question. What is the solution to this problem? Where to invest money? Is FD enough? Is gold better? Land, shares, or mutual funds? Each has its own place. But, which is suitable for whom? When? Let's find out all this simply in the next videos. That is a wrap on part 2. Inflation is real. It is everywhere. And it does not wait for anyone. But now you know where it hides, who it hurts, and that magic rule of 72. If this gave you even one insight that helps protect your money, share this video with one friend or family member right now. They need to hear this too. Drop your quiz answer in the comments. Hit subscribe. And I will see you next video, where we talk about the weapons that actually beat inflation. See you then. SEBI disclaimer. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully. This content is strictly for educational purposes and should not be taken as financial advice, recommendation to buy, sell investments. Inflation Survival Checklist. Track your real household inflation, not just CPI. Keep emergency money liquid. Avoid leaving large sums idle for years. Use growth assets for long-term goals. Review investments annually. Beating inflation matters more than earning interest.